just wanted to show you guys how filters work, specifically gradual neutral density filters. So here's a 3-stop. I'm using this because it's the easiest to see. You can tell it's solid 3-stop gray at the top and clear at the bottom with a gradient in the middle. What you typically do is slide that into a scene to control a sky. So I wanted to show you two things. One is just how they work in general, and then I'm going to go on to show you how they work on lenses that don't take filters. So the first step is to put the holder onto the lens. So I have a ring that fits my lens. This particular ring is a 77mm. This is an X Pro holder. So it slides in and snaps in like that, and then this threads onto the lens like that. Okay, that's tight. Once it's on, this can rotate freely. And then what you do is you take your filter, there's 2 notches here, and you just slide it down into position. And then what you would do, this would be set up on your tripod, you'd have it lined up with a landscape. You'd look through the viewfinder or live view and just slide it down until it's in the right spot for that exposure. And then just take a shot, take a look at it. It's really easy when you can check out a replay and see where it goes. So, there's another step to this. If you like using circular polarizers, this is what a standard circular polarizer looks like. It's a 77. Okay, that's just for reference. This is a Cokin X Pro circular polarizer, so it's quite a bit bigger. They're also not inexpensive, but they slide in to the same holder and snap into place there, and then they rotate like that, and then you can still load a GND in front of the CP and use both if you want. And again, the whole thing just rotates freely, and it allows you to do a lot. And these filter holders also have 2 slots, which means you can use 2 different GNDs at the same time. Some mornings a 3-stop's not quite enough, so I'll use a 3-stop and a 1-stop or a 2-stop for 4 or 5 total stops. So that's a normal lens. That's pretty basic. I know a lot of people still ask questions about how they work, so you'll probably appreciate seeing that. But now let's step up to a lens that, quote, can't take filters. Okay, this is Sigma 12 to 24. We're going to put this on the camera real quick. Okay, I got that switched out. Another point on this lens, I know a lot of people might not know this. This is the lens cap, the whole piece like that. You slide it off. A lot of people, I think, only take this off. When you shoot with this, you get a nasty black circle. I'll show you a sample image on the write-up. But so that's whole piece is the lens cap. Now, this can't take filters supposedly because there's no threaded ring in the front that's solid because of the hood. This hood's built in, it's metal, and you can't really screw anything onto it. So that part is true. You can't just screw a 77 or even a 105 or whatever size you think might fit on there. But when you get bored, you try things. You can shoot through this and it'll work. So if you can do that, you got to be able to hold it. So what I've done is I've taken a few parts, ordered a few extra parts, played around with some things. Just slide this CP back in this bag. Alright, so here's the holder with nothing on it. Now, I showed you this earlier. This is the lens cap, right? What I did is I ordered a second one of these from Sigma, and you mill out or just cut off the front part, because there's a little lip in here that it's going to be hard to see, but that stops it from going on too far, and it's what the lens cap snaps into. Well, what you do is you take that and you either cut the front straight off or you mill it out, but either way you're making it so this ring slides onto the lens. Once you do that, for the Sigma, this is a 95mm ring that I've then, in this case, it just press fits in. So you cut the filter holder, or you cut the hood so that it can slide on, and then you just press it into a 105 ring. If you're using a 14 to 24, sorry, this is a 95. If you're using a 14 to 24, it's a 105. If you're using the Olympus 7 to 14, it's a 77. I've done all 3 personally, they all work. Now, here's the trick. I have this god-awful Livestrong band on my lens because it fills in the slot, because when you slide this on, you're only sitting on that much of the hood, and this gives you a little bit of extra space. So when you slide it on, you go on like that. I just take my fingers, press them in the corners so that it sits flush here and you won't see it now. Now, I did skip a step there. It has to be on the holder first. So you just, same as a normal ring, it's on the holder. Take this, slide it on, put your fingers in the corner like that, it's on. Now, you rotate it any which way you want, you take a panel filter, and you slide it in. And it's going to be really hard to see in this video, but you'll have to trust me. There's about 1 millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters of space between that hood and this filter. And you can shoot right out to 12 millimeters. I'll put some sample shots in this post when you watch the video, but you can shoot at 12 millimeters. The one problem is when you go vertical, you'll actually get, you can maybe see it here, you get the reflection of this pump in the glass right here. And what that really does is it gives you two light corners here and here. So when you shoot like this, you do have to cup the top of your frame. Now, I've had to do that on 16 millimeter shots, on 17 millimeter shots with normal threaded filters because the light's not coming in where my adapter's in play. The light's coming in at the filter holder and the filter gap. So that can be an issue. It doesn't help that you're in the second or furthest spot, so there's more, you can see that there's more of a distance in here for light to bounce around in there. But if you put your hand over the top, or a glove if it's the winter, or if you're using the bags, you can just set the bags when they're empty, they curve right around there nicely. You can make a neoprene boot, there's lots of solutions, but you will get corners if you don't pay attention to that and shoot vertically. The other thing you can do, you can still put the CP in there, but by the time it's useful, you're getting close to the 20s, so you might as well just use your circular polarizer on a standard lens. On the 14 to 24, it's about 17, 18 where you don't see it anymore. On this, it's a little bit narrower, but for me, it's just not worth it. I'd rather use my polarizer on a lens that's meant for one. But you really need GNDs on days like these out here shooting sunrises, so I had to come up with something. So I hope that makes it clearer for some of you guys. Here's how you take it apart. Just pull that off. This comes out of here. This comes out of here. So again, for a 12 to 24, it's a 95 millimeter ring with an extra cowl. You can buy these from Sigma. For a 14 to 24, it would be a 105 front ring. And then again, you use the lens cap, you just cut a hole straight through it. Pretty simple. And for the Panasonic 7 to 14, it's actually even easier. You just, this ring, this 77 millimeter ring, you put that band on the hood just so you don't scratch the hood up, and this slides right over, and that's good enough to go. It's the easiest out there. And with the 7 to 14, you can actually use the next filter size down, which is the Z's, which are 4 by 6 inches. These are, they're 170 by 130 millimeters, I believe. So they're quite a bit bigger. But as I said, the 7 to 14's enough smaller, being micro 4/3, that it actually works with the Z's instead of the X's. So I hope this has helped someone, and benjacobsonphoto.com for the reviews.